Hey everyone, this is Nick from NXT Plants. In this video I'm going to be going through and sharing with you guys some of my biggest anthuriums and my tips and tricks. Okay, first one I'm going to talk about is my papillium Fort Sherman Self here. This one's from J. Vanini. This is the pap I've chosen to share. It's pretty much the same size as my other big canal pap, and that's my Regardens. I picked this one out just because this emergent is so pretty. You can see the back, it's the nice red color. I've had this one for quite a while. I've cut it a few times and bred with it quite a bit. That's why it's looking a little raggedy. It's now done being a mother for a while, so I'm going to give it some TLC, probably repot it into a smaller pot, clean it up, and let it recover and get back to looking very nice. And just one of the downsides to breeding with a plant a lot is it does put some stress, which causes some cosmetic imperfections. It also lets you make lots and lots of little babies. It's pretty fun. This is probably the plant, I think this is the plant we credit with getting us hooked on the dark velvet anthurium. This was sort of the first one where we picked up, and it's, the rest is history. It's just such a stunning plant, and I feel like papilliums still are still one of my favorite species. I feel like pretty underrated. Next one I want to talk about is this Anthurium SP Napo crossed with Dorito Port. This thing is huge. It also has kind of crazy petioles. When I show you the Napo, you'll see where it gets the petioles from, because it's definitely the Napo. This one is just, it's flowering, yada yada, but this is an emergent leaf, so you can sort of get an idea of the shape. You can see the Napo is quite dominant in crosses where it's the mother. Even when it's the father, it tends to be a little bit dominant. Yeah, this one's just been it's been a really good grower, very fast. I've tried to pollinate it with DF and it didn't take. So I'm gonna experiment a little bit more with some other things and see if, this hybrid can make hybrids. Because, hybrids aren't always fertile, especially if you're mixing two pretty disparate things. But I definitely think it's an improvement on the Napo, so I do want to breed with it a little bit. Here we have the SP Napo. Got it in one of these pots here, and you can just see the petioles are a little bit crazy. Definitely a downside to this plant, but it's been a pretty decent mother. I pollinated it with pap. I tried Bessie AF a few times and it didn't work, but all my attempts with pap and this plant have worked out pretty well. And I've also tried now Wonder Boy as the mother with this plant, and that also worked. So it seems to work pretty well with cardio. I don't know why Bessie AF didn't work. Might have just been a fluke, and the couple times I tried it just were outliers. So might give it some more tries, but I wanted to pair it with Bessie AF because it's also a very dominant plant in hybrids, so I thought it might be able to compete with the Napo genes. Just have it in this pot. I've had it in here for a really long time. This plant is great. It's pretty tolerant of drying out. I definitely let this pot go dry since it doesn't have a reservoir, but doesn't seem to really mind. Yeah, only downside of these petioles, which get really crazy. This is my Rhodolantianum. I mean, it's huge. It's huge. It's been flowering a bunch. It's got all these beautiful leaves. Just a beast of a plant. I don't know. It's huge, huge. Probably my biggest leaf by surface area, and I couldn't be on a better plant. The Rhodolantianum is just something else. Here was the size of the previous leaf, Liftum. So you can see it's still sizing pretty well from leaf to leaf. This leaf here is only just starting to harden down, so it hasn't fully developed its color yet. I find this one to be pretty tolerant of getting up by the light bars without burning. It definitely bleaches, but it's not too bad. And it does seem to color up pretty decently if you then take it back out of the super intense light. Great grower. It's got some interesting petiole shape. Yeah, very fun plant. And such a great and easy grower. Oh gosh, let me show you guys the roots. They're pretty crazy. There we go. You can see this big root system. If you can believe it, I've been pruning them back. We're just trying to develop more and more of those fine hair-like roots, because those are the ones that uptake the feed and the moisture. So more of those means the plant grows faster. This inflow here I pollinated in another video with BVEP. We're starting to get berry development. And I don't expect anything too crazy. So it looks like we're starting to get some ones that might be a little bit bigger than their neighbors. Looks like quite a lot of berries are developing, so might be another chance for a seed. Not that anything comes from those, but it's always worth trying. And it doesn't seem to slow down the plant at all. Very great plant. Okay, I've just decided that I'm going to use a measuring tape on the leaves in the video. The Napo Dorito is 20 inches. The Napa is also 20 inches. The FS Self is 23 inches. The Roto is 22 inches. But it's much fatter than the Fort Sherman's. Ooh, I'm gonna put a hole in the leaf. But yeah, I still think this is by far the biggest surface area, just because of how fat the leaf is. Next up, we've got my Anthurium warocqueanum. This one's the, you know, quote unquote dark and narrow. Oh my god, it's so heavy. There you go. There's the top to bottom. It was just given a flushing, so the pole and the pot are very heavy. Let me turn the pole around and show you guys the roots that are starting to develop in it. Here's my one and only moss pole. It's actually full of just my aeroid mix. The roots seem to be developing in it okay. I just tied, using some bonsai wire, the chunk of the queen right to the grid on the front of this pole. And then I sank like a gardening stake inside of this pole. I'm just going to turn this off for this. All the way down, and then on the net, the grid of the net that's inside of this, I zip tied it to that grid. So this pole and all the material in it is very nicely secured. And that just lets the plant root a little bit better without its roots getting disturbed when they're starting to settle in. And then back here you can see I tied to some more bonsai wire, and that's just to hold the petioles upright so it doesn't go the helicopter. This is my first leaf after the repot. It's not the most perfect thing ever, and there's obviously some yellowing. That's just what happens whenever you disturb a queen. They don't like it. I'm surprised at size because when we repotted it, we removed pretty much the entirety of the root system. Stripped it right back. So I was definitely expecting a loss in size. So I'm pleasantly surprised with how it turned out. I'd say 32 inches on this leaf. Not bad. It's pretty long. I'm really curious to see how big it'll get with this pot. But it's got a lot of pole to climb and it's got a lot of room to root. It's barely started to root, so. I never get it out, I never photograph it anymore. It's up in the top of this tent. And it's very difficult to get out, but there's something still so nice about a warocqueanum. Since I had this one out to do some of the other ones, got my King of Spades here. It's pretty big. It's definitely not the biggest, but I think I did this in a previous video. It is 14, 15 inches to the top. Here's its new leaf. I put a hole in it, pulling it out the other day. And then the reason I'm including the video is we finally have a flower that is freed itself from the petiole and is progressing without rotting, which is going to be a first for this plant. It's rotted all its previous flowers. The only thing I changed was I gave it a second light bar above it. There was that, and then if you remember, I think I previously said this, I took like a couple months off from watering, which means no fresh reservoirs. So the plant wasn't getting its proper fertilizer. But going back to giving the reservoir changes and the extra light, it seems to have flowered now. So, very happy with it still. I like the King of Spades. Okay, got my Ace of Spades from Tazula. Look at that color. Here we have an emergent leaf. I'm going to show you the back of the emergent leaf so you can see the red. This leaf is looking crazy on the screen. I hope it comes through once I'm in the video editor. But wow. It's not the biggest, but it makes me happy. So this one's in this video. I really want this thing to flower so bad. Not this leaf, but the leaf before. Not the nice black leaf I've been showing you. The leaf before it. Out of the place where the flower comes from. It's like opened up. And you can see the tip of the flower just sitting there, green and healthy. But then nothing on the next one. So hopefully one of these leaves will shoot me a flower, because I would love to start breeding with this one. I really specifically want to put this Ace of Spades pollen on my long bullet because I think they have the most complementary horseshoe lobes. And like, I'll get there eventually. I'm in no rush. One is like one of my older Anthurium and it's just been like a slow ride to get it to flower. Be so careful not to touch this leaf. 15.5 inches.
Still very working.
And it's still very soft. It only just sort of flattened itself out. Sorry, it might be a sun stressing thing. The plant just has, this leaf doesn't have it yet, but here, you see my finger, and then down the central vein, there's purple on the 2 oldest leaves, and on the 1 previous leaf it's starting to come in. And the petioles are also starting to get the purple color. Here we have my Draconoterum. This is an emergent leaf I'm showing you out in front. Got a little chewed on by Charlie. Here we have the previous leaf. I know it's not the most immaculate plant, but I'm very pleased with how large it's gotten. I have it staked and displayed. See the wiring, but it's just, I need to go to this plastic store we have here so I can get clear acrylic poles cut at all the different heights I want for my different plants. Just haven't gotten around to doing that, but these will eventually be replaced with clear dowels. Let's sidetrack. Okay. Yeah, I don't know, just there's something about this plant. It is weird. It's been trying to flower for me. It's now, it failed, but obviously a very juvenile plant still. Like, look at these lobes. How ridiculous they are. And they've just been growing and growing and growing as the plant keeps going. Seems like you're not getting too much more length, but just a lot more ear. Really fun plant. Would highly recommend. I think with this one, if it's small, definitely like really respect it and treat it a little bit carefully. I killed my first one by having it be too close to a fan. Then I got a prop back of the same plant from my friend who gifted me the first one. And it's been much easier. Definitely grow it out to a good size before you start in the tent or whatever, because it does seem a little more sensitive at a small size. And next I'm going to do my Pallidiflorum. Got this Heavenly Emergent out front. Goes on and on and on and on and on. Yeah, I don't know. Pallidiflorum Super Narrow or whatever they call it. I have it so severely underpotted it isn't flowering for me, and it's definitely like stunted itself out. I haven't repotted this thing in ages. You guys aren't ready to see this. Like, it's just like solid root inside the reservoir. It's like so rooted I don't even care about crunching its roots. Really, really good plant. Okay, so the previous leaf is 46 inches long. An absolute monster. Yeah, and the current emergent has already passed the previous leaf in length. So we'll see how big that one gets. I need to like cut all the roots off in the reservoir and give this plant a repot. Because I can't even imagine how big it's going to get. Here we've got my Anthurium Hobgoblin. This is a hybrid created by Jay Vanini. It is a Lux crossed with a Dressleri, and then that one's called Black Magic, and then it's crossed again with a Dressleri. So you can see very Dressleri heavy. Just an absolutely stunning plant. It's finally starting to get back to its old color. And that's just with a little bit better light treatment, and I'm going to be experimenting with some nutrient changes, so that should hopefully give it that last little bit of oomph so it goes back to its former glory. Oh, sorry, I gotta set them down. These plants are very heavy. I've got, okay, you can see it. This inflow here is crossed with Wonder Boy. My hope was for a Dressleri Red Crystal with just a little bit more to it. The yield is going to be low, but it doesn't look like it'll be too terrible. The color has just started to change, so should mean not too much longer until harvest is doable. The thing has like finally started to settle into this pot. It's been a little bit of a journey, but gosh, I'm gonna pick it up again for the camera because it's just that insanely nice. Wow, I just absolutely love this plant. The Hobgoblin leaf was 19 inches. Forgot to measure that one, but here we go. Here we got the last plant. Here's my SP Nov DF. Got an emergent leaf out front here. We got the previous leaf here. You can see this plant just combines the velvet, the wide sinus, and the dark color. Just the best out of anything out there. There really is no comparison. It's gotten pretty big. The emergent is just looking crazy right now. So warped, so extreme. Trying to do some more hybrids with it. Otherwise I'm not going to share them because there's probably a pretty good chance they abort. So I don't want to get anyone's hopes up. That's just one of the downsides of the DF mother. And if you're wondering why you never see any selves, it's because it's not because of a lack of trying. It's just one of those plants that doesn't really self. Like, it has been done, but I don't want to say what I'm... let's just say I purchased a self from a very reputable person. It's definitely not a self. Anyways, Nov DF. Wonderful plant. I feel like this is really a plant that just has been so instrumental to our love of the hobby over the last 6 to 12 months as we've been breeding with it. And it's really fun seeing this plant pass along its traits. It seems pretty perfectly able to, even as the father, make a damn near doppelganger of itself. It's remarkable. Yeah, really great plant. What? Oh, I gotta measure it. This one, it's not really fair. It doesn't have any lobes to add to its length. 15 and a half inches. But I guess if the lobe up there, maybe 16. Fort Sherman's sinus tip is like 18, 19 inches. And then this one is just shy of 16 inches. No ears, it takes off a bunch of the length. Thank you guys for watching here to the end. I had a really great time pulling out some of my huge Anthurium and sharing them with you guys. I think that's it. Thanks. Have a good one. Bye.